How's it going, boys and girls? It is me, Lockie B, the King Dreamer LB. Welcome back to the channel today. And today I'm doing my round 4 AFL tips. We're going to go through the games, we're going to tip them. It's pretty simple. I'm really shit at intros, hey? Anyway, let's get right into the video. Alright, first up we have Brisbane v Collingwood at the Gabba. Now Brisbane only have the one win of the season so far. Collingwood's undefeated. Look, we're only 3 rounds in, so Brisbane only having one win doesn't really say a lot to me. But Collingwood's 3 wins, they've been dominant. Last week against my Tigers, they absolutely smashed us. They should have won by more. They had a good come-from-behind win against Geelong, and they ended up winning comfortably. Like, Collingwood, they seem to be the team to beat. However, I'm going to say Brisbane in a close game. I think Brisbane are going to beat Collingwood by 10 points. Next up, we have North Melbourne versus Carlton. Good Friday football. And this is going to be an interesting game, I think. North Melbourne, they started the season 2-0. They had a loss over in Tasmania against Hawthorn. Carlton, on the other hand, they've got 2 wins and a draw. Now, it's going to be interesting, I think, because it's going to show a lot about North's character. How are they going to come back from that loss? It was a pretty devastating loss. It was probably a game they should have won. Like, on paper, they should have won. So I think it's just going to be very interesting to see how Clarko's North respond to a loss. Carlton, on the other hand, I think they're the stronger team, and I've got them tipped to win. I think they do it. Again, another close one, I think, by 3 goals, 18 points. Next up, we head to Adelaide Oval. We've got the Crom versus Freo, and I honestly think this is going to be match of the round. Both teams with 1 win. However, I feel like Freo are going to get the job done on the road, and I think they're going to do it comfortably. I think they're going to do it by 4 goals. I think Adelaide, for the first 3 quarters, they're going to put up a massive fight. I think it's going to be close for 3 quarters, but I think Freo blow the game out in the last quarter. Next, we head over to the MCG. We've got my Tigers versus the Western Bulldogs. My Tigers are sitting with 1 win and a draw, while the Bulldogs are sitting with 1 win. I think this is going to be a close game. I think this round has the potential to be, for the most part, close games. I think the Tigers will get the job done. I'm a biased Tigers fan, but we've got a few, hopefully Dusty's back in, hopefully Hopper's back in, and I think the Tigers get the job done at the MCG. I think it's going to be a 2 to 3 goal margin. I think 15 points in the way of the Tigers. Next up, we have the undefeated St Kilda versus Gold Coast. Now, this game, on paper, with St Kilda being undefeated, you'd automatically say St Kilda. However, I'm not convinced that St Kilda are going to beat Gold Coast. Round 1, Gold Coast got blown out of the water by Sydney, but they were competitive. Round 2, they took a loss to Essendon, but again, they were very, very competitive. It's a game they almost could have won had they stuck with Essendon in the last quarter. They beat the reigning premiers last week, so I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think St Kilda, they've got a lot on the injury list. Potentially a Gold Coast upset, and that's what I'm going to tip. I think Gold Coast by 12 points. Next we head to the SCG. We've got Sydney, who have won 2 games against Port Adelaide, who have only got the 1 win. They took a loss to the Crows last week. I think Port are going to be wanting to bounce back from that loss to the Crows, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it on the road against Sydney. I think Sydney is just too strong, and I think they're going to easily get the job done. I think this is going to be a 5-goal game. I think Sydney get up by 33 points. We head back to Marvel Stadium as we have Essendon versus the Giants. This game, I think, is a one-way street again. I think, for the most part, this round is going to be close, but I think, the Sydney game and I think this game are where it gets a bit blown out of the water. I think GWS, they're going to take a massive loss on the road to Essendon, who have been in strong form. They've got the 2 wins, 1 loss. I think the 1 loss against St Kilda last week doesn't really say much about Essendon. So I think Essendon, I think they could almost do it by 40 points, to be honest. So I'm gonna go with 40-point victory to Essendon. Now we head over to the West. We've got West Coast Eagles versus Melbourne at Optus Stadium. And I think Melbourne will get the job done, but I think it's going to be a close affair. I think the West Coast fans are really going to be that 19th man for West Coast this week. I think it's going to be close, but I think Melbourne are going to be too strong. I think they're going to get the job done by 17 points. Last game of the round, we head to the MCG for Easter Monday. We've got Geelong versus Hawthorn. Geelong, the reigning premiers, they have not won a game this season. Hawthorn, they took two big losses to start the season, and then they beat the undefeated North Melbourne last week. I really think Hawthorn are going to keep Geelong on their losing ways. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Hawthorn get the job done by 10 points. I think Geelong could be in a bit of trouble. Like, they've got to find a way to win without Selwood. I think that Selwood's someone they relied very heavily on. He'd get them up and going when they were in a bit of a lull, and now they don't have that X-Factor captain to push them forward when they're struggling. Hawthorn by 10 points is very doable. I've been Lucky B, the King Dreamer, LB. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. I appreciate all the support, everyone coming in, watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Tell me who you think is going to win each game, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.